Hey, good Sunday morning, everybody. It's Chief Meteorologist Brad Penovich. Well, we're keeping an eye on the chance for some strong thunderstorms this evening. The first half of the day looks great, but this evening, we're going to be monitoring closely for some strong storms as we get closer to dinner time across the southeast. Here's the setup. You can see at the surface, we've got a couple things going on here. First things first, big cold front back to the west, but you see this stalled front? This thing is going to be lifting north as a warm front. And what's going to happen is that's going to allow for a really warm, humid air to surge in. But anywhere that front sets up, we could see a cluster of storms develop in and around where that front is, and that could cause some severe weather to develop. So let's look at the surface right now. I'm going to turn on the temperatures just to show you how warm it is. Let me quickly turn on the fill here, and you can see pretty warm conditions. We're already in the 60s and 70s here before noon, and I think we're well on our way into the low 80s today. What will be interesting to see is how warm the dew points get. So dew points right now, notice I'll zoom in closer. You can see dew points are generally in the low 60s. That's plenty of moisture for potentially some thunderstorms to develop. I'll show you that fuel. I'm going to actually turn off the satellite imagery. You see that dew point air. That's that rich, moist air. That's the fuel for thunderstorms to develop. Because of that, we do have a low end to even medium risk for some strong storms across the region. Let me show you what that looks like. I'll pop it up here as I turn off the dew points here real quickly. We'll turn that off. You can see the low risk across most of the area, but you see that area in orange? That is an area where we have a medium risk. And why is there a medium risk here? Well, because wherever this stalled front sets up, storms that are around that front are going to have a little bit more organization, maybe even some rotation to them. I don't expect widespread tornado threat, but rotating storms are severe just the same. And let me show you the tornado probabilities. You can see roughly around 2%. Not really high, but let's look at the probability of hail. It's basically around 5%. And then let's look at the probability of damaging winds. So you see that area, that's why that's under that medium risk. This is primarily damaging straight line winds, some small hail, and an isolated tornado risk overall. That's the severe weather threat this afternoon. Let me show you futurecasts as I show you how this is going to unfold, because what I think is going to happen here is we're going to see this warm, humid air surging north. This front's coming in from the west. We're going to see these storms start to develop and push east as we go into the afternoon hours. So let's take a quick look on how that's going to look. So looking ahead to this afternoon, this is around lunchtime, noon. We'll go to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Let's stop this at 3 o'clock. And you can see the cluster of storms developing here, basically in western Virginia into the mountains of North Carolina. This is really where I think we'll see the worst storms, right near the North Carolina-Virginia borders. We go through time. You can see some of these storms developing along Interstate 40. So areas in North Carolina we're watching is basically from Boone to Caldwell County to Morganton, Hickory, Taylorsville, Statesville, Mount Airy, then into the Greensboro area. As we get later into the evening, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you can see most of those storms staying north. So there's a good chance if you're in Charlotte South, you might not see a drop of rain. This is not a huge chance of rain today. The rain chances are about 40-50%, but the storms that can get going, they could be strong to severe. Now let me widen this out and I'll loop the whole thing a couple times so you get an idea on what we're looking at. And oh, by the way, Dover race today, boy, 3 o'clock start is a good thing, because the later we get into the afternoon, we could see some storms develop by the evening hours. So we'll be keeping an eye on that up in the Dover area. Now, again, our main concern is damaging straight line winds, but I will show you the rotational tracks from the HRR. You can see there is some rotation tracks showing up in this area just to the north. Overall, the shear is not off the charts for tornadic activity. I really think this is primarily going to be more what I would consider probably more in the form of damaging winds, maybe some small hail. But again, the tornado probabilities are about 2%. Significant tornado parameter, that's another composite image we look at. Again, nothing off the chart. So this is not a huge tornado risk, but any severe thunderstorm, as we always say, can produce a tornado with little or no warning. Our main concern this afternoon will be damaging winds and small hail, especially along Interstate 40. Let me back this up one more time, and I'll go hour by hour. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, 7. So areas along Interstate 40, Asheville to Hickory to Salisbury, Greensboro to Raleigh, north, that's the area we'll watch for strong storms coming up later this evening. Of course, as warnings are issued or watches are issued, make sure you follow me on Twitter, WXBrad. I will have updates there and continuously update, as well as anytime on Facebook as I can. But remember, Facebook's not a great place, so make sure you follow me on Twitter, grab the WCNC app, or follow us on all the social platforms to keep you updated on the severe risk. Have a great day, everybody. It's May 1st, and this is the heart of our severe weather season.